I'm having a dinner with some friends and I thought I'd bring a few things. One thing I'm making is salsa. I got the recipe off allrecipes.com from someone named Kiki Wood. It sounds simple enough to make, and homemade salsa is super delicious. So follow along and be proud of yourself. Let's make some salsa. Bring a large pot of water to a boil. You need to chop up 1/4 pound of Roma tomatoes, which is generally 2 tomatoes. And because it's salsa, you don't really have to worry about, you know, what style you're using to chop them up. And chopped isn't super tiny either. We're not dicing these. Next, you need to chop up 1 pound of jalapenos, which is a lot of jalapenos. So cut the stem off, cut them in half, and then typically use a spoon to take out the white part in the center and the seeds, and then chop what's left over. I would chop the jalapeno a little finer than you chopped your tomatoes. It all goes based on your heat preference too. If you want it more spicy, leave the pieces a little bigger. Not so much, cut them a little smaller. Now we need to chop 1 whole white onion, 1 whole yellow onion, and 1 whole red onion. So I start by just chopping them in half and then cutting along the grains. So you kind of have to move with the onion. Okay, now we have all our red onion chopped in a bowl. Continue with the other 2. Also, get a bunch of cilantro, 1 bunch, and we need 1/3 of it chopped. So I'm gonna just cut the head off that has most of the leafy parts. Set aside the rest for later if I need it, and just kind of... If you get any big stems that don't have a lot of leaves, just throw those away. For this recipe, we also need 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So cut a lemon in half, and then just squeeze it into a measuring cup. Once your pot of water comes to a boil, we need to put in 6 Roma tomatoes, but not for very long. Just until the skins loosen and they get some color. Okay, I would say the skin's starting to loosen on those, so let's drain them, peel the skin, and crush the insides. I'm going to run some cool water over them, just so I can peel them easier. Look at that, peeled tomatoes. I've never seen that before. But then it says to crush them, which should be super easy. I'm going to do it nice and gently, because I don't want to send water flying everywhere. We have our smashed tomatoes back in our saucepan. Now mix in your 1/4 pound of chopped tomatoes. We need 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. We need a tablespoon of cayenne powder, a little more, a tablespoon of cayenne powder. You need 1/4 cup of lemon juice, which is 1 big lemon or 2 medium-sized lemons. I'd get 2 just in case. You need 1½ tablespoons of salt. 1 tablespoon. Half a tablespoon. Then we need 1½ teaspoons of cumin. So 1 teaspoon and a half. Put these over heat again and then whip them to the desired thickness you would like. So because there's a lot of water in there, they should all mix well now. We're going to bring this to a boil and mix in the remainder of our ingredients. Now that it's at a boil, we can mix in our onions, and our jalapenos. And mix all those in. As they heat up and absorb water, they'll actually soften quite a bit and shrink in size. Don't forget to mix in your cilantro as well. And mix it and let it boil until your onions are the consistency you want. This smells great. Everything's starting to get pretty mushy. I would say at this point, it's pretty close to the consistency I'd like. So I'm going to stir it for another minute and then remove it from heat and refrigerate it until I eat it. Alright, so I've got most of my salsa in the fridge, but let's try a piece. I had some earlier and it was really good. This is one of those recipes where you make it, it looks a little gross, but then it tastes really good. Make sure you let it cool down before you try it. Oh yeah, that is some of the best salsa I've ever had. And it was super simple to make. It tastes super warm, tomatoey, the jalapeno comes through with the onion, but it's not overbearing. So if you followed along and made this, be proud of yourself. This is some delicious salsa. Good job!